Hello students, welcome to your political science first chapter, what is democracy and why democracy. Dear students, in this chapter we'll basically elaborate the meaning of the term democracy, its definition and its key features, followed by the merits and demerits of democracy along with the broader meaning of democracy, taking up examples from different nooks and corners of the world. Dear students, the term democracy is basically picked from the Greek word demokratia, which means here it's a combination of two words, demos and kratia, where demos mean people and kratia means rule. So we sum up, that is, rule of people is known as democracy. Moving ahead with the second definition, it is from one of the well-known US President Abraham Lincoln. He defines democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. In this chapter, we'll explore the meaning, needs, and features of democracy. Now, if I give a simple definition to democracy, democracy is the form of government where people has the power to choose his or her representative or rulers. Let's move ahead with the key features of democracy. The democracy has the following features. Rulers elected by the people take all the major decisions. Election offer a choice and fair opportunity to the people to change the current rulers. The choice and opportunity is available to all the people on equal basis. The exercise of this choice leads to a government limited by basic rules of the constitution and citizens' rights. These are the four main and key features of democracy. Now, let us understand these key features taking few examples from different parts of the world. For the first feature, let us take the example from our neighbor Pakistan. In Pakistan, General Parvez Musharraf led a military coup in the October 1999. He basically overthrew a democratically elected government and declared himself as the chief executive of the country. Later, when he came to power, he changed his designation to the president. And further, in the year 2002, he held a referendum in the country that granted him a 5-year extension. That is simply, he asked whether his government should continue for the next tenure, yes or no. So he was granted with an consent for yes, so he got an extension for another 5 years. Pakistani media, the Human Rights Commission and organization said that the referendum was based on malpractices and fraud. Means he might have picked up with some faulty measures to get the decision in his favor. Further, in the year 2002, General Parvez Musharraf, he issued a legal framework order that with that order he went for amending the constitution of Pakistan. Means he went for making changes in the constitution of Pakistan. Now according to this, he was given with the power, the president can dismiss the national or the provincial assemblies. The work of the civilian cabinet was just supervised by the National Security Council, which was basically dominated by the military officials. However, the elected representative have some power with them, but the major power finally rested in the hands of General Parvez Musharraf. Thus, we conclude that in a democracy, the final decision making power must rest with those elected by the people. Next, the key feature of democracy is to have free and fair electoral competition. For this, we'll take example from the two countries, that is China and Mexico. In China, the elections are held after every 5 years for the Chinese parliament called the National People's Congress. The members to this parliament are elected by the people after every 5 years. The National People's Congress has the power to appoint the president of the country, and some members are elected by army too. Now, any of the member before contesting in the elections needs an approval of the Chinese Communist Party. Only its member or the members of the 8 parties which work or which are allied to it are allowed to contest in an election. Thus, as there is no other party to compete, it is always the candidates gain victory from the Communist Party of China, and the government is always formed by the Communist Party. The government is always formed by the Communist Party, and alternatively, since its independence in the year 1930. If you take Mexico, that is, when Mexico gained its independence in the year 1930, it held elections after, say, every 6 years to elect its president. Mexico has never been under military or dictator's rule. Till 2000, all the presidential elections were won by the PRI, which means Institutional Revolutionary Party, and it is observed that this particular party in Mexico picks up with some all, say, corrupt practices and use unethical means to win the elections every time. Highlight a few. The malpractices are as such: compelling government school teachers to compel and convey the parents of the students taking education in their educational institutes to cast the vote in favor of PRI. Then, media is under the control of PRI. It simply highlights all the positives about this political party and spread negative about the opponents. The members, those who are contesting under the banner of PRI, a large amount of money is spent for the campaigning process. That is how they make the game and win over the elections. Now, taking examples from these two cases, we conclude democracy must be based on free and fair election where those currently in power have a fair chance of losing it. Next, move on to the another feature of democracy, that is one person, one vote, and one value. The principle of universal adult franchise is accepted by almost all over the world. But if you take into account, there are many instances of denial of equal rights to vote. The first example is from Saudi Arabia, where women do not have the right to vote. Second example is from Estonia, has made its citizenship rules in such a way that people belonging to the Russian minority find it difficult to get a right to vote. Third, in Fiji, The electoral system in such, or it is as such, that vote of an indigenous Fijian has more value than that of an Indian Fiji, which is not at all appropriate. So, here we come up with the third feature of democracy, that is, democracy is based on the fundamental principle of political equality. That is, in a democracy, each adult citizen must have one vote and each vote must have one value. Now, moving ahead to the last feature of democracy, let's take a story from the country called Zimbabwe. From the case of Zimbabwe, this feature of democracy can be understood very well. That is, rule of law and respect for rights. Zimbabwe attained independence from the white majority in the year 1980. From then onwards, the country has been ruled by a party called ZANU-PF, which was led by, or which was the main, party to struggle for Zimbabwe's freedom. The party leader, Robert Mugabe, has been the president of the country since independence. Elections are always won by the party through violence and harassment of the opposition politicians, workers, and journalists. Protests against the president were illegal. Nobody could gather courage to fight or raise voice against him. And even the government do not bother to obey court orders. And if somebody happened to question, even the judges were arrested. Thus, there is no rule of law and citizens' rights are not respected. This is one of the another most important feature, that if we need to exercise real democracy, then the government should function as per the constitutional guidelines and respect the rights of the citizens. Moving ahead with the next question, why do we need democracy? We'll have some features to discuss, that is, argument against democracy and arguments in favor of democracy. So let's see. If you want to really compare democracy, so it should be compared with real forms of other modes of government like monarchy or dictatorship or any other. Let us analyze these facts in detail and first discuss on the arguments which are against democracy. The first argument against democracy is, in a democracy, the government if you take into account, leaders keep on changing in democracy and keep on changing, and the democracy leading to instability. That's very true, because for a government in democracy, tenure is fixed. After that tenure, the party which will gain majority will form the government, or even at times, if the party loses the majority, it may be dissolved in between, the house may be dissolved and you may have fresh elections. So it is considered that it creates hindrances in the smooth functioning of the nation. Moving ahead, it is also said that democracy is all about political competition and power play. There is no scope of morality. Means at times The leaders, they keep away with their moral acts and take the path of corruption and violence to gain power. And once a fellow who has picked up with all those values comes to power, we cannot expect him to work for common good or general good. Third is, many people have to be consulted in taking democratic decisions. That is simple. Whenever a bill is passed or law is passed, it has to go through number of readings in different houses of the parliament, and it cannot be concluded overnight. Fine. So it takes a lot of time. For a dictator, it's not a big deal to say yes or no, because he is one in all and all in all. So in democracy, it takes time to take decisions. So this is also one of the problem or drawback, which is an argument against democracy, that in democracy, while getting to a final conclusion to any of the decision, it takes a lot of time. Then elected or the elected leaders do not always keep the best interest of the people, which lead to bad decisions. Further, democracy leads to corruption as it is based on electoral competition. Now, in order to gain power, the democratic leaders at times they use money and muscle power to gain the position back. And once such type of people come to power, they do not work for the betterment of the region, right? So which also leads to poor governance or a bad government. Then ordinary people don't know what is good for them, so they should not decide anything. These are few of the arguments which are against democracy. This simply explains that the government called democracy may not be the ideal form of government which one can say adopt easily. Now let's move for few of the arguments which are in favor of democracy. The first argument is a democratic government is a better government because it is a more accountable form of government. Let's take the example given in your book. Take the example of India and China, famines in the year 1958 to 1961. While China was hit badly, India did not face the trouble as China had to face, despite its poor economic condition. Reason for this could be that India responded to the food shortage in a way that the Chinese government did not. Here, we see that democracy is better than any other form of government in responding to the needs of people. Let's move to the second argument. Democracy improves the quality of decision making. Democracy is based on consultation and discussion. A democratic decision always involves many people. Discussions and meetings, and they are able to point out the possible mistakes in any of the decision. That is, it may take long time. However, the advantage of taking time over important decisions is that it reduces the chance of rash or irresponsible decisions, or say poor decisions. Moving on to the third argument for democracy. Democracy improves democracy provides a method to deal with differences and conflicts. This is something very peculiar about democracy. In any society, people are bound to have differences of opinions and interest. These differences are particularly more in the country like ours, which holds amazing social diversity. People belong to different regions, speak different languages, practice different religions, and have different castes. The preferences of one group can clash with those of others. How do we resolve such conflicts? Democracy provides the only peaceful solution to this problem. In a democracy, no one is a permanent winner or loser. Different groups can live with one another peacefully, which is nowhere seen in any other form of government. Now, move ahead. Democracy enhances the dignity of citizen. Means democracy is based on the principle of political equality. It recognizes that the poorest and the least educated have the same status as the rich and the educated. Moving on to the last argument in favor of democracy, democracy is better than other forms of government because it allows us to correct our own mistakes. Yes, it's true. Even if no government can guarantee that no mistakes will be made, in a democracy, one can be sure that it will not be hidden for a too long period. You commit the mistake, it will be highlighted because you have a strong opposition. It makes a space for public discussion on these mistakes. There is also room for corrections. Rulers have to change their decisions or they could themselves be changed in the next elections. Thus, we can correctly infer that while democracy may not be the solution to all the problems, it is still clearly better than other forms of governments available or the other alternatives available in the modern society. Now, moving on to the broader meaning of democracy, democracy or the democratic idea cannot be practiced in can be practiced in various decision making processes. In broader sense, no country in the world can be completely democratic. The feature of democracy are only the minimum conditions to call that particular country as democratic or say non-democratic. But still, we can do a lot to achieve the aims and to exercise the features of democracy in the world. Thank you for your patient listening. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Once again, thanks. Goodbye.